Hello and welcome back to Movies in Bed. I am Josh Nix and... Okay, I can't hide it, so I may as well admit it now. I made a mistake.
If you may recall back to my very first film review of Urusei Yatsura Only You, I made the statement that the voice actor for Ataru is also the same guy who did Joey Wheeler from Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, it turns out that was not the case. Ataru was voiced by someone else in that movie, and therefore, I was wrong. But, in my defense, I did mention it in my sophomore review that my information could be incorrect, so give me some credit there.
Now, I righted a wrong and came out honestly about a significant mistake in my show, so let's now move on to today's film, which is going to be... Hold it right there! Huh? Who the f*** are you? I am Pussy McNitpicker, newly assigned troll, and you, Josh Nix, just made a horrible mistake! You should be spit on by 5 school children and fans of John Goodman! Wait, what are you talking about? You fucked up on a voice actor for Ataru Moriboshi, and now you deserve to eat your own shit for the rest of your life!
I already talked about that.
In pain to the sound of it. Wait, you what? Yep, I already admitted that mistake. Oh. That's all? Mm-hmm. You know, for my assigned troll, you kind of suck at your job. I knew. My cousin Douchey is personally ashamed of me. And me too! How dare you try to undermine me, make me feel weak? You are going to regret this shit, Snakes, for I shall stick around for as long as I'll make an ass out of myself and prove how much bullshit. Wish I would have gotten this remote sooner. Anyways, as I was saying, today's movie is none other than Urusei Yatsura 2, Beautiful Dreamer.
This time around, there's actually an interesting story behind the production of the first couple movies. Starting back with Only You, the film was directed by a man named Mamoru Oshii, who also directed and did storyboard artwork for the TV show too. It's been reported that the movie's producer made several demands to alter the franchise's silver screen debut, but Mamoru wouldn't have any of it. The end result? Only You is Rumiko Takahashi's favorite of the film series and is said to be the most true to the UI universe. However, the director was not as pleased with it and decided to say, "F*** the public's expectations, I'm doing this my way!" And that's where Beautiful Dreamer comes into the picture.
So, will Mamoru off fans everywhere, or actually make this a unique film of its own? Well, let's take a look at this venture.
The seagulls from Finding Nemo start this off and dang! I apologize, I seem to have put on the prototype for Dead or Alive. Oh, Lum's in this. I guess this is Urusei Yatsura, but just from the first minute, it sort of feels not like Urusei Yatsura.
Mamoru really did take this in a different direction. I don't know if I should be afraid or accept this approach with spread legs.
As for this post-apocalyptic-like setting, this just comes right out of nowhere. But since we're dealing with Japanese animation and storytelling, they're going to find a way to explain this sooner or later, of course. So we went from apocalypse-confused tents to Tomobiki High School, preparing for a school festival. Oh, and I'll buy you pie if you can name every Japanese pop culture reference in this sequence. Then we cut to... oh no.
Please tell me there's no Pictonians running that place.
God, yes, it's Lump Stormtroopers Shinobu Mendao and Tomboy Ryunosuke. Whew. And yeah, Nazi symbolism is sort of a norm in the series because Mendao's wealthy family often associates with it. Why? World War II perhaps, but I really don't get it either.
Well, that was terrific.
That disgusting laugh.
And ladies and gentlemen, the voice of the hour, Joey Wheeler as Ataru!
You come here too, Ryoko. Hurry up.
Ryoko? Are you in there, Ryoko?
And as well as voicing Mendao. Huh.
Following the customs of the franchise, chaos is declared and the group's teacher, Onsen Mark, is left hanging 3 stories high above his squishy death.
My arms are going numb. My teeth are falling out.
What are you doing, sir?
Okay, stop right there. What's the point of that scene?
It sounds like Anson Mark just met a guardian angel for the first time, but this guy's been Lump's teacher for a while already. He knows her and she knows him, so what's the motivation for this moment?
It sounds like something I would listen to help me go to sleep.
The group has to stay at the school for the night to be able to get ready for the festival, and Lum and Shinobu meet up with the school nurse.
Hello, nurse.
And of course, she does have a name, which is Sakura.
No, not that Sakura. Or that Sakura. Or even the Sakura from Takahashi's new manga series.
The three women then talk about, well...
Girl stuff. You wouldn't understand.
I love Darling. I want to live happily ever after with Darling, his mom and dad, Ten, Shutaru, and Megane and all his friends. That's my dream.
What? That's basically just like it is now.
Yep, that's why I'm so happy now.
Wow, that was one messed up line delivery.
The Japanese version had the same line, but because it usually takes about 10 English words to equal a Japanese word, the original was able to make the cut perfectly before we get done. However, why does Lum speak about being happy and then give a sarcastic facial expression?
I love you, you love me.
Ataru and Mendel leave on a late night snack run for the game, and their usual rivalry comes to a head.
Hey, what's the matter, Mendel? Are you still mad at me?
Naturally. You made me an innocent victim of an electric shock. The tank's electronic components were completely reduced to scrap. Our nearly complete coffee shop was wiped out, and it's all your fault.
So, I apologized, didn't I?
Be serious, you guys. You are now imagining the same voice actor arguing with himself in a recording booth.
Stop dragging people.
After taking a drive down Don Bluth Avenue through some wonderfully animated shots, we then get... this. If you couldn't tell from my lazy writing, yeah, this constituted because as strange as anything involving Takahashi can be, this is truly a WTF moment and neither party involved mentions it again. The next day comes, which means it's the festival's opening day and... Huh? What? Wait a second. They're still working? This doesn't make sense. Ah!
Overwork, lack of sleep, malnutrition, nervous system imbalance, and your face is ugly.
He's giving Michael Moore a chance with the Kardashians!
So aside from the fact that everyone seems to be repeating the previous day, Sakura sends Anson Mark home on account of mental exhaustion, but discovers later she accidentally gave him laxatives instead of tranquilizers.
Oops.
Why do both of those medicines look the same though? Just a plot convenience for the school nurse to go to Anson Mark's apartment.
It's me, Sakura. Turns out the medicine I gave you was...
Oh my god! The poison jungle is starting to spread! Get out of there! Or you could trunchbull him out for no reason.
Oops.
After some talking, the two were able to deduce that it must have been a very long time since Anson Mark last stepped into his apartment, thus explaining the poor condition it was in. However, everyone else only remembers staying at the school for about a few days getting ready for the festival. And this is when they bring up a famous Japanese folktale called Urashima Taro. The story says that a fisherman once saved a turtle and in return gets a ride on a giant turtle to an underwater palace where he stayed for a few days. But when he returned to his village, a few centuries have passed and he hardly aged. Save for when he opened a box the turtles gave him and told him not to open, but he did anyhow and the box turns out to have held his old age in it.
Believe it or not, you may have come across the story already since a good amount of anime is already influenced by this tale.
To try to make things different from before, Anson Mark kicks everyone out of school while Sakura goes out to seek her monk uncle, Cherry. As she does so, the students try to go home by different modes of transportation, but my personal favorite being Mendel trying to drive Shinobu home since this looks like an animated horror game.
We've gone through here.
Things sure are strange tonight.
Left! The gyro map is...
Miss Sakura fails to find Uncle Cherry,
I say the strangest names on this show.
and takes a cab back to the school while her cab driver tries to give a belated audition for Morpheus from The Matrix.
You know how time seems to slow down when you're waiting? Fact is, time is simply a creation of your human consciousness. Now, what if there ain't no human beings anywhere in the world? Wouldn't clocks and calendars be a waste? Maybe there ain't no such thing as time that flows in one direction from the past to the future. And never was, don't you think, ma'am?
Show your true self!
Crazy driver!
Taking this as a hint that there could be a spirit involved with all of this since Sakura is a priestess herself, she comes back to the school to find that everyone else came back since they can't be able to go home due to roads mysteriously cutting off and the bus and train route circling back to Tomobiki.
I know the Japanese are well known for their public transportation, but this is making New York City more reliable than them.
Since they can't be able to get home, they all stay at Ataru's house for the night, Sakura still can't reach her uncle, and now Auntie Mark goes missing too. She goes up to try to talk to the guys.
No. Go back. On second thought, the more I think about it, the more I'll hurt myself, so move along.
The next day comes and everyone walks back to the school and Ataru sinks into a puddle.
Uh-oh. I think he was captured by the queen of the puddle!
When everyone else gets to the school, they find Mendel's tank has been moved somehow from the classroom to the pool, and Ataru appears there as well. I guess the school gets their pool water from Aperture Laboratories. Having enough of it, everyone searches the school at night to try to find a reason for the strange events, but...
No, that bit's way overdone. Oh wait, this will do! Creativity. Everyone should try it at least once.
Mendel directs everyone to his family's nearby panic center where they all hitch a ride on his plane to try to make it out of town by air.
It can't be! It's impossible!
My brain just did a barrel roll in my skull.